Adam Fazackerley, what inspired you to start Lay-n-Go?
We have 3 boys, and I was buying a ton of Lego. Amy needed a better way to pick it up. And there was nothing on the market that solved what every parent's struggle was. So instead of the bins, the baskets, the buckets, the bags, Amy and I went about designing something that truly solved the problem. It allows the kids to see everything like it lays flat, but then it instantly cleans up. And our kind of whole business was built off of what became our trademark, which was play for hours and clean up in seconds. And as we understood that the patented design could be deployed at different sizes, we miniaturized it so kids could, instead of being on their cell phones, they could have mind-building STEM activities on airplane tray tables, in the restaurants. And that led to the cosmetic bag, the toiletry bag, the wired bag, which takes care of tech accessories. And so it really applied to many different parts and struggles, as long as they were small pieces that were better off seen in a whole and then easily cleaned up.
And what were the biggest challenges you faced getting Lango off the ground?
Well, I think the idea that it is a patented product, it's not like a backpack. I can tell you to go out and buy a backpack, and you understand essentially what I'm talking about.
Right.
We created a market with this object that would lay flat, but that would also completely seal. So a lot of our struggles were in education. And the struggles for any entrepreneur is the fun part. It's how do you take something and how do you build it? So it's probably to have people understand what it is you're talking about, and once they see it, because it's very visual, they understand how it can apply and benefit them.
Can you talk about your struggles growing your company? At first it was just you and your wife, but then you had to add manufacturing, you had to add some employees. How did that go for you?
Absolutely. So I think with manufacturing, that was the thing that we were least experienced with. How do you take an idea? I was used to building software, websites, things that were pixels and digitized and put on servers. Now we were dealing with something that actually was sewn and was manufactured, and we went through 13 different United States vendors to try to get them made in the United States. We just don't do that anymore. And so the manufacturing was a huge struggle. Once we found one vendor, we started to work with their factory. We realized we quickly outgrew that. We found another factory, we outgrew that. And so in learning and the experience, we found that we could run into brick walls, but you can always climb them and move to the next level.
And how do you market the business? How do you get the word out?
That's where we learned that product is king. We both had built businesses, but they were more jobs, they were smaller. The product of Lango is the thing that created not customers, but apostles. People love talking about it. And so when someone would see it, they would say, my friend is a news anchor on this. My friend does this and this. I want to show it to them. So the fact that it was very demonstrable on TV, got a lot of TV exposure. It's a very visual product, and people instantly get it. So my wife is phenomenal when it comes to making connections and just being unapologetic for, can I show this to you? And that really led to some great opportunities on national channels.
And if you could do anything differently back when you first started that you know now, what would they be?
You know, it's a tough one, because you have challenges every single day. You run into things that bother you. We have intellectual property issues every day with Chinese ripoffs. Maybe the fact that you have to grow thick skin and you have to understand that when you have a successful product, you have to fight back. It is the toughest thing in the world. It is the thing that will make you want to curl up instead of fight. And when you decide to take it on and to realize that it is just part of the game, and if you don't have thick skin and if you don't swing back, then you're going to get crippled. It's going to take away the drive that you have going forward. And so the ability to handle some of the really, really tough lessons that we go through every single day still. But we surround ourselves with, okay, I don't have to deal with it. Let's hire somebody internal. And 2 days a week, you sit there on Amazon and you find infringers. And we're going to go after them and we're going to report them. And we're not just going to passively say, oh, there's another one.
And what are your growth plans?
Right now, I see the application with FEMA, first responders. My father was a military fighter pilot. When these people that see the product, they say, in the most inhospitable conditions, we need somewhere where people feel normal for 5 minutes. They can put their toothbrush down and have a place to just put their toiletries. I would love to get that into their hands. I would love to see how it could benefit people in the military, people that are on submarines that have a very limited amount of space. The toiletry and cosmetic bag offer a way to easily see everything without dumping it out. So our next big growth plan that I'm looking at is how do we apply that to both federal, state, and local, first responders, military, the same way that we were finding success with the private sector.
And then what are the biggest challenges about achieving those goals? What's going to hold you back, you think?
Well, what held me back up until this point was the fear that the process was going to be misunderstood, difficult to get through. So far, the biggest thing that I've found is there are so many resources that will enable you to push forward to be able to sell to those channels. I think we continue to want to innovate. We want to design. We want to always think, what's the next thing? We also want to keep the focus of what's the best thing for the company. And so in dealing with the federal government, there are steps that you must take. And so far, I've been extremely pleased with all the support I've received through not only U.S. Chamber, but through procurement technical assistance programs, through sam.gov. It's been something that the SBA is part of it, and we look for that as one of the growth plans to try to get those into the hands of people that can benefit from it. It's not really a sell, it's an educate, and if it helps, great. Let's design something for you.
All right, well, thanks a lot for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.